What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Sideswipe the Boss back at it again with another tier list. And I decided to hop out of the Arrowverse for a minute, but staying in DC, we are going to Gotham. Now, Gotham was a show that ran from 2014 to 2019, with its fifth season ending about a year and a half ago. And I've recently rewatched Gotham, and I gotta say, Gotham is one of the most consistent, in my opinion at least, one of the most consistently good shows out there. I mean, to be honest, it didn't have a bad season. Yeah, some seasons were better than others, but to me, it didn't have a bad season. It's just ranged from okay to great. So I decided to put the main or side slash main characters of the show in a tier list. And as you can see, I didn't include every single character in there because we'd be here all day if I did that. So I just did the main characters and maybe like a few side characters I thought that were interesting. But without further ado, let's get into it. And if you do enjoy this video, just remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos if you want to see more videos like this. So first up, we have Jerome Valeska. He showed up in season 4 when Jerome was like going crazy and trying to kill him and stuff. Then he took over after Jerome died, when like Jerome kind of like poisoned him or messed him up, and he became like the official that universe's Joker. And he was all right to me. He was all right. I consider Jerome much better, but Jeremiah, he was good too, even though they were both playing by the same actor, of course. I feel like his portrayal of Jerome was better than Jeremiah. But Jeremiah was actually pretty interesting. Not as interesting as Jerome, but interesting. So I'll probably put him at, like, he'll be in the B tier for right now, but we'll see where he ends up in that tier. Next up, we have Barbara Keene, and she had one of the most interesting stories of the show. I mean, starting out as just Jim Gordon's bride to be, or they were engaged and they weren't engaged, and then she kind of went crazy, and her story has just been all over the place, to be honest. I didn't care for when her story was kind of tied with Ra's al Ghul. I was a little weird, but other than that, she was a pretty interesting character nonetheless. So she's also going to go in the B tier, but above Jeremiah. Next up, we have sort of like the hero-ish person of the show, Jim Gordon. And also his story is pretty cool, just starting out as like a regular officer or detective, moving up in the ranks, finally becoming the captain. It was pretty cool. At first, he wasn't that interesting to me, especially like season 1. He wasn't that interesting. But as the show went along, he got more and more interesting to where I really liked him as a character. So he's going to go in the A tier for me. Next up, we have Butch Gilzine, a.k.a. Solomon Grundy, a.k.a. Cyrus Gold. And he was pretty good in the show. His run lasted from season 1 to season 4. Season 4, that's when he was Grundy. And he was pretty good nonetheless. I mean, he didn't really have a lot to do in, like, especially like season 2. He was mind controlled for a bit. Then they fixed it and stuff. But, he's one of those pretty cool bad guys nonetheless. So he'll probably also go in the B tier, but below everybody else in there, at least for right now. Next up, we have Carmine Falcone, and he was a pretty cool mob boss, but that's all he did. I mean, he was a pretty good character. He had some pretty good moments. He cared, like, he was kind of like a crime lord with principles, and like we had principles, so he was pretty alright to me. He'll go in the C tier. Next up, we have Lee Thompkins, and for most of the show, Lee was just a love interest to Jim Gordon until season 4. Well, at the end of season 3, when she got poisoned with that anger gas thing, I think that's what it was. And then in season 4, she was like Queen of the Narrows. That was pretty interesting nonetheless. And I really forgot what she did season 5. but she was pretty good nonetheless. So she'll also go in the C tier, but above Falcone, because her story was just a little more interesting than Falcone's. Next up, we have Firefly, and this is one of the side characters I decided to put in here because she is a part of like that main bad guy group. But other than that, I mean, she has a cool weapon. Her suit's kind of okay, but other than that, she's really not that interesting. So I'll put her in the D tier. Next up, we have Fish Mooney, and she was alright to me. She wasn't super great or anything. I mean, her main story was from season 1, and then she appeared like towards the end of season 2, and then specks here and there in season 3. But she has a pretty okay character. I mean, she has some pretty good moments when she was on the show. Season 1 was her best, in my opinion. So I'll probably put her also in the C tier, but like the mid C tier. Next up, we have the Pig, and he was pretty funny to me, not even gonna lie. For the few episodes he was in the show, I think it was like season 4, he was pretty good. I mean, it was a pretty good adaptation of the Pig, not even gonna lie. So he'll probably go at like the top of the C tier for me. Next up, we have Bruce Wayne, and man, oh man, oh man, he had one of the best storylines in the whole show. Watching him grow up, he grew up severely. I mean, I'm going to show you right here. On the left is what he looked like in season 1, and on the right is what he ended off in season 5. That man, that he grew from a boy to a man literally in the span of 5 years. It was amazing, to be honest. But he had one of the best storylines. I mean, he grows up to be Batman, so I mean, of course he is. But yeah, he just had a lot of good storylines. I guess for me, the only thing was like that little run where he was acting like a spoiled brat, a spoiled billionaire. Took it too far a little bit. I guess that was a little hitch in the road. But other than that, he was a great character nonetheless. So he'll go above Jim Gordon in the A tier. Next up, we have Hugo Strange, and I mean, he was just a decent character. He didn't really do too much. I mean, he kind of was like the sort of main villain towards the back of season 2 with like all the Arkham Asylum people and all those monsters and stuff. And he appeared every once in a while in every season after. Like, he appeared a few times in season 3, a few times in season 4. I think like twice in season 5. But he was just a character to me, to be honest. Not really the best interpretation of him that I've seen. So he'll be at like the top of the D tier. Next up, we have, I think it's Jarvis Touch, a.k.a. the Mad Hatter. And he was a pretty good character for the times that he did show up. He wasn't in the show for too long. I think he appeared in like season 3 a lot. Then he was in a couple episodes in season 4 and just like a few in season 5, maybe like 2 in season 5. Man, it was a pretty good villain when he did show up. He had a great rivalry with Jim Gordon, though, and that was very, very surprising. I didn't expect to like that as much as I did. So he'll go at like the bottom of the B tier for me. With watching Gotham comes liking the villains a lot more than the heroes, and nothing short can be said about Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin. He's my second favorite character of the show. Also had one of the best storylines in the show, how he grew up from that umbrella boy of Fish Mooney to, I guess, the sort of king of Gotham of a sense. Yeah, he's a great villain. He's just a great, I don't know, he appears every season. He has great storylines in every season, except a little bit in like season 4, but it was fine, I guess. But other than that, he's a great character. He's definitely gonna go in the S tier. Next up, we have Ra's al Ghul, and I honestly did not care for this version of Ra's al Ghul. Honestly, to me, the Arrow version of Ra's al Ghul is better, and that's saying something because he wasn't that great either. I mean, he has some cool fight scenes. I mean, his powers are kind of cool. His like motivation to like have Bruce either like succeed him or something else like that. It was weird. Then he wanted to destroy Gotham just out of nowhere, which didn't make any sense. But I didn't like him personally, so he's gonna go in the F tier. Next up, we have Edward Nygma, aka the Riddler, and he is my favorite character of the entire show. He, in my opinion, had the best backstory ever, starting out as that humble GCPD worker to becoming a great conniving villain. It was awesome. The riddles, sometimes a little too much, but it's the Riddler. What can you do? Yeah, he's a great villain, a great character overall. So he will go at the top of the S tier. Next up, we have Harvey Bullock, and Harvey was pretty funny to me, to be honest, especially in like seasons 1 and 2. He was hilarious, and then he grew that like brotherly bond with Jim over time, and that was pretty cool. He had that stretch where he was captain for a little bit. I mean, that was fine, I guess. And he didn't really do much after that. But he's a pretty cool character nonetheless. So he'll probably go at like the mid B tier. Next up, we have Selina Kyle, a.k.a. grows up to be Catwoman, but we're not there yet. But she is also a pretty good character, too. She had that little bond with Bruce. I like that. She had some pretty cool moments as well in the show. To be honest, for most of the show, she was just on the run. But when she did get some good storylines, she was good. So for me, she's probably going to go at the top of the B tier for me. Next up, we have Moroni. And he was pretty decent when he was in the show. He was only in the show for season 1, then got taken out by Fish Mooney, just like that, in the season finale. But other than that, he was a pretty solid villain. I mean, he didn't really have a great motivation for me, to be honest. But other than that, he was just pretty solid to me. He'll probably just go at like the top, actually no, the bottom of the C tier. I was going to put him at the top of the D tier, but I'll give him a little bit more credit. Next up, we have Poison Ivy. And Poison Ivy, she was awkward. I mean, that's her character. So, I mean, bravo to all 3 actresses who played her for doing that. But, yeah, she was just awkward. Her powers were cool nonetheless, though. Like I said, it is pretty cool that she was played very well by all 3 actresses who played her. So she's going to go at the top of the C tier for me. Next up, we have my boy, Jerome Valeska, a.k.a. Proto-Joker, I guess. He was awesome. He was great. I mean, I don't know what else to say about him. He was great. He was very evil. I missed him in most of season 3 because he died at like the beginning of season 2, then showed up I think towards the middle of season 3, I guess. So I'm glad they brought him back. Then he officially died at like towards the back half of season 4, but he was great, amazing, awesome. Yeah, just great. So he's gonna go also in the S tier, but just below Penguin and Riddler. Next up, we have Lucius Fox. And he was an okay character to me. He didn't really do much, to be honest. He was just there just to show that, oh, hey, Lucius Fox is here. And he does stuff. So for me, he's just going to go at the top of the D tier. Next up, we have Sophia Falcone. I think that's what her name was. I didn't like her. That storyline in the beginning of season 4, it didn't make sense at all. I don't know why they added her into the show. I mean, they could have just had her in like 1 or 2 episodes, but it was stupid other than that. So she's going to go at the bottom of the F tier. Alright, I just made a quick change because I realized I forgot someone. But moving on, we have Captain Essen. I think that's what her name was. She was the captain for season 1 and part of season 2 before she died in season 2. I mean, she was okay. She was just, the captain. She had good morals, so, I mean, she was alright. But other than that, she didn't really do much. So, show. So she'll also go in the D tier, just below Lucius though. Next up we have Scarecrow, and he didn't have too much focus on his storyline, but the end result was cool for me, to be honest. I wish they would have done more with this character than just, showing up out of nowhere. Here's some fear or something like that. But he was an okay villain nonetheless. He'll probably go at like the mid C tier for me. Actually, bottom C tier. Next up, we have Alfred Pennyworth. And at first, when Alfred was in the show, I didn't really care for him that much. But as the show went along, he became cool and awesome. Like in season 1, he was just kind of annoying. Kind of, being Bruce's parent. Even though, he is a guardian, so I guess that's what he had to do. But as the show went along, he became kind of awesome for me, to be honest. So he's going to go at the bottom of the A tier. Next up, we have Tabitha. I think that's what her name was. And she lasted a lot longer than I thought. I thought she would be killed off in season 2. But no, she became integral parts of other storylines. She fell in love with Butch. She had a weird sisterly bond with Barbara. Then she died at the beginning of season 5, which kind of was bogus. She went out in such a bogus way for being a good character for me, to be honest. So she's probably gonna go in like the mid B tier. Next up, we have Victor Zsasz, and Victor Zsasz is just hilarious for me. He's also just kind of like the muscle, I guess, of a sense. Whenever someone needs something done, he's just like a mercenary for hire, to be honest. And other than that, he didn't really have any deep or any really long storylines, to be honest, but he was funny when he did show up, and he is kind of cool as well. So he'll go towards the top of the C tier. He'll go at the top of the C tier, why not? Next up, we have Theo Galavan, and he didn't really do much in his run. He kind of was sort of the main villain for the first half. Well, like the first 2/3 of season 2 of Gotham. But other than that, he was just okay. Then he got blown up, which was I guess it was kind of cool, but it was kind of a bogus way for him to go out nonetheless. And he didn't last as long as I thought he would too. So he's going to go at the top of the D tier for me. Next up, we have Bane. And Bane, he was only in the last few episodes of the last season. And other than, first pretending to be Jim's friend, well, he was, then he got different orders. Then he get impaled or something, and he almost died, and then he became Bane. I would have to go back and rewatch it again. I'm actually currently rewatching it right now, so once I get to that, I'll probably remember. But other than that, he was kind of a knockoff Bane. Really didn't serve too much of a purpose. So he's gonna go in the mid B tier. D tier, not B, D. Next up, we have Mr. Freeze. He's also one of those, characters. Just wanted to include it because he is kind of cool. I do like his suit. He does have a decent storyline. In I think it's season 2, he has a decent storyline. But other than that, he just shows up every now and then as well. So he'll go in I'll put him at the bottom of the C tier. And finally, we have Captain Barnes. He was the captain of the GCPD when Essen died in season 2, and then for half or 2/3 of season 3 before he turned evil, became, I think it was an executioner or something. His suit was kind of weird, not even gonna lie, but I did like his storyline nonetheless, and he was a pretty cool character. So he'll probably also go in the C tier. I'll put him in just below Fish. And there we have it, folks. F tier is Ra's al Ghul and Sophia Falcone. D tier, we have Theo Galavan, Lucius Fox, Bane, Captain Essen, Hugo Strange, and Firefly. C tier, we have Victor Zsasz, Poison Ivy, The Pig, Lee Thompkins, Fish Mooney, Captain Barnes, Carmine Falcone, Moroni, Scarecrow, and Mr. Freeze. B tier, we have Selina Kyle, Barbara Keene, Jerome Valeska, Tabitha, Harvey Bullock, Butch, Gilzine, and the Mad Hatter. A tier, we have Bruce Wayne, Jim Gordon, and Alfred Pennyworth. And in the S tier, we have the Riddler, Penguin, and Jerome Valeska. So that's all the time we have for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me know in the comment section down below what tier list you would like to see next. Also, let me know what you thought about this tier list. Would you change all of it? Would you change just a bit of it? Or did you like my list? Just let me know that. And if you did enjoy this video, just hit that like button and subscribe for more videos if you want to see more like this. And I will catch you guys next time. Peace out.